Hey folks, I'm 𝗵𝗁𝘁 with Gristle King, walking you through how to mark out the holes and the bend lines for a bracket for your off-grid enclosure. So we'll start with the piece of metal that we're going to use for our bracket. This is a 48" by 12" by 0.125, so 1/8 of an inch thick aluminum. The aluminum is 5052. 5052 is a good blend of aluminum that is tough enough to bend without cracking, but is also strong enough to hold up the panel that we're going to put on it. In this case, that panel is a Renogy 30-watt panel. It's a pretty small one. We are not concerned right now with the front of it, but we're looking at the back. So we've got 4 holes that are our mount points on this thing. So we're going to find out where those holes are, mark them on our metal bracket, and then drill those holes out. We'll make sure we get the right size screws for those in a second. One important thing to note with the panel is when it comes in its box, in its shipping box, don't throw that box away. You're going to want that box when you pack this thing in. So keep the box, keep the foam, keep it all together as best you can. And when you pack it in, put the solar panel back in the box, tape it up nice and tight, and that's a really good way to build a protective case for that thing. You'll see that I end up doing it a little bit differently. I bought basically a backpack custom for this stuff, so I'll put it in the backpack. That saves me a little bit of space. But for most folks, they don't want to buy a custom backpack for doing off-grid hotspots, so keep the case, tape it up. That's your protective transport case. The last piece is the enclosure. So here's our little box. You guys have seen this before. On the back of these boxes are 4 holes for mounting. This particular box comes with a couple of these little brackets here and some screws. So we'll mount the brackets on the box, and then we'll figure out where the holes are going to go on our metal bracket and mark out all the holes, mark out all the bend lines, drill all the holes, drill all the slots, do all that stuff, and then we'll finally finish up with the bending of the bracket. Now I'll warn you up front, the bending of the bracket's going to be kind of funny to watch just because it's a lot of manual labor. I'm going to do it right here on this workshop bench. You can do this, and I'll say it again when we get to the bending piece, but you can take it down to a machinist shop, ask them if they have a press brake. They'll know exactly what you're talking about when you show them this thing. You got your bend lines on it. You'll bend one of them to 90 degrees, one of them to whatever it is, 122.5 here for San Diego, but whatever matches your latitude. It should take them, 5-10 minutes to do that max. They'll charge you some money. That'll be easy. In this case, I just like building stuff in this shop, so I'm going to get out the sledge and clamp this thing in my little bench vise and go to town, my bar clamp, sorry, and go to town. But that's what we got today. So metal, panel, box, let's get started. All right, so start just laying everything out, putting your stuff on there, marking it with your Sharpie. I mark all my holes with what size they are, so 6 or 7 or 8 millimeters, whatever it is. I'll mark out the slots, make sure I know where those are going to be for the worm drive clamps, and then I'll file everything out and make it nice and smooth. All right, so I've got the bracket pretty much ready, most of the holes drilled. I've got to drill a couple more to get this top little piece out so that when we fold this over, we can reach through it if we need to drill in this stuff. But see, most of this stuff is done, so we're looking pretty good. I got all my different size hole drills. I filed out my edges for the little worm clamps, and you can see that working here. It's always good to check those things when you put them in. Let's see, I got a handy one right here. So here's my little worm drive clamp. And you just want to make sure those things fit in, and they do. So we're good to go. On to the next step. All right, this is probably my least favorite part, is just cutting metal with a little guy like that, but that's what I got. That's the tool that I've got, so that's what I'm going to use. Let's get it done. All right, so clamp your work to the table. Make sure it can't shake a bunch. Those little jigsaws for cutting metal are not the greatest things, but you can make it work. I'm getting the hole cut out here, and as soon as that thing is cut out, we got a place to reach through and drill our bracket into whatever the mount is, and we're done.